Hi everyone. I decided to do this video because of the new wave of COVID contagion and the fact that it's winter and it's influenza season 2. So this video is about the immune system and how to keep it healthy. Okay? So what I learned when I had the lupus, I'm not a medical doctor, so my experience comes from being able to balance out my own immune system and making it stronger but balanced. So what I found is that you need to balance out many things in life. And the 5 most important things you have to balance is, of course, your physical body, what your body needs to be well. And we're going to go into every one of these in detail afterwards. But it's the physical body, mental, emotional health, what you think, what you feel, also affects the immune system and your overall well-being and health. And then you need to balance out your relationships, because we are social animals and being in a relationship is very important for us. And the health of that relationship or relationships is very important to be healthy. Also, the spiritual, because if we lose our North Star, our core value, our connection to ourselves, then we lose the meaning and we lose the purpose of life. And when that happens, well, everything starts falling down. So what we need to do at the spiritual level is really maintain that purpose and that connection. But we'll go into them one by one. And I have my notes so I don't forget anything. But let's go into the physical. Okay, the physical factor that our body needs. Most of us know this. We've been taught this from primary school. We need clean water, clean air, healthy food, exercise, rest. That's the basic things our body needs to be okay. I also added cellular nutrition, because our cells need special things, building blocks, to be able to do their processes correctly. And the very basic building blocks for the immune system are vitamins. It's vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin B. These 3 vitamins are really important for the immune system. But also some minerals like selenium, zinc, and magnesium. These 3 minerals also help balance out the system, and it helps our cells be healthy and do everything they need to do. And the last thing we have to be very aware of is the ambience in which we live. So if we live in a very stressful house, or if the air quality where we live is really bad, or the water is really contaminated, we need to do things to mitigate these factors of contamination of the surrounding environment. And if we live, for example, in a very stressful family and we need to be with them in quarantine, then we need to give ourselves space to be able to go and meditate, or give ourselves permission to read a book or have quiet time for ourselves in order to make our body de-stress. We're also going to go specifically into stress, because this is the worst of the emotions right now. Okay, so those are the physical factors. Then the mental emotional factors. And here I want to talk a little bit about the brain, how the brain does its thing. The brain, has neurons, and neurons connect to each other. And when these neurons connect, they make neuronal pathways. And these pathways, the more you use them, the more they become highways. And so the feelings attached to each pathway that we use a lot becomes ingrained in us. That those are the things that people know about us, like the one that always gets angry or the one that's always happy, because those are the neural pathways that we associate with the emotions, and it's our basic state of mind. So what we need to do about our mental and emotional state is that we need to really be aware of our thoughts, what's going on in our heads, because of course thoughts are related to emotions. So when we have a positive outlook, the emotion that we create is going to be positive. And we have a negative outlook, or we're very stressed, or we're very afraid, then we're going to create a negative emotion. And all those chemicals that we produce, emotions are actually chemicals produced by our brain and by different organs. And they go all over our bodies, and they go into every single cell. So our cells feel with us everything we feel. and they have the same, we can't call it mental attitude because they don't have brains, but they have the same outlook in life than we do. And they do the processes that we ask them to by our mental state. So here's where stress comes in. Stress is like fear prolonged in time. It's this state of awareness that something bad is going to happen to us at any moment. So what the body does with that is produce adrenaline and cortisol, and those chemicals go to our cells. And what our cells do is they stop metabolizing. They just stop whatever they're doing because they need to be ready to give that energy to the muscles in order for us to be able to run away or fight off the threat. But with that threat that doesn't materialize like our boss screaming at us or like really hard family relationships, then that stress doesn't leave our body. It stays there. It just goes around. And it's very hard for us to metabolize. And also the immune system itself is slowed down by stress because your body reacts to stress as if there was a tiger coming to eat you. So if there was a tiger coming to eat you, the least of your problems would be your immune system, would be a virus or a bacteria. Because if the tiger catches you, then the bacteria is its problem, not yours anymore. So the body will slow down the immune system to be able to fight or flight. So the more we're stressed, the more we're slowing down our immune system. When it does its thing, when it's time to repair and to heal, it's when you are calm. Because then it can do its metabolizing processes and our cells can work properly. So it's very, very important for us to guard ourselves against stress. And we're going to go into some ways to do that at the end of the video. Right now we're going to go into the relationship situation. Okay? So what are your relationships like right now? Divorce rates are up like a lot, and many people are fighting, and many people are having really stressful relationships because everything that wasn't solved in our relationships that we were running away from is sort of exploding in our faces right now because we have to be together. And that togetherness is making everything that was there very apparent. So we need to start going into the relationship and solving whatever's there because it's going to be there and it's going to explode. And a very helpful tip for this is the problem with a relationship cannot be solved out there. You have to solve it first in here because whatever's bothering you out there is a problem you have with yourself. So for example, if I hate aggression, of course physical aggression is another matter and you usually have to run away from that one. But verbal aggression, people that shout a lot or get very angry. Me personally, I have a problem with that. So what do you do to solve that? Well, first I have to face what's my fear with aggression. And of course, my fear with aggression is getting hurt, getting my feelings hurt. So I have to really build up my own self-esteem and my own barriers and limits to be able to face that person that gets really angry without it being a reflection of me, without it affecting me. So I have to be really well protected in my own energy field, what you want to call it, or your own mental attitude, for that person's anger not to come and affect me. And we can do this with every single feeling that we're feeling that the person or that situation is aggravating in us. We have to go into ourselves and see what's really going on with us. Okay, so that's what you do for mental emotional. You have to be really attentive to your thoughts and to the feelings they're producing and decide, because the only person that decides in here is me. So if I don't like the way I'm feeling with the situation, I can always take a step back, go into my space and decide how I want to feel. And when I decide how I want to feel, I have to go into either a memory, an image, or an activity that produces that feeling. For example, endorphins. Endorphins are the hormones of, or the neurotransmitters of happiness. What makes you happy? It can be a hobby, it can be a movie, it can be a joke, but it can be talking to your friends, it can be walking in nature, it can be meditating, it can be whatever you want. But the one who decides how you want to feel is you. So relationships at the end of the day are healthy when we are healthy and when we can solve them inside ourselves. And then we can go out and tell the person very honestly about ourselves. And we always start good communication with you, never with when you do that, or you are this, you are such an angry person, and yeah. You have to start with yourself. And then you can say something like, when you shout, I feel hurt because I feel like you're blaming me for that situation that's stressing you. And please stop it because it's hurting me. It's very different to say that than to go and accuse the other person of what they're doing wrong, because that usually results in a row and in more stress. So that type of communication, starting with you and how that makes you feel, is usually a very good solution, because the other person really doesn't want to hurt you. If they're your family or they're somebody that loves you, usually they don't want to hurt you. So they're going to modify their behavior to accommodate you as long as you are willing to do the same for them and willing to talk about you and not accuse the other person. Okay? So that's what we do with relationships. And with the spiritual part, that's going very much inside and finding our core values. What's that makes us tick? The thing that gets us out of bed, the thing that we stand for. Now it can be novelty or exploring or justice or love or relationships or whatever is really your core value, what you stand for. And there's an exercise, I already did the video of the exercise of how to find your core value. So it's very important to do that one, to see what you stand for and to guide your life in this moment, especially through that value in everything you do. And then there's also what's stressing us out is time. Time is affecting everything because it's stressing us, because we're not very sure of our times anymore, and business hours are not what they used to be. And I don't know about you, but for me, I don't know if it was on Monday or on Tuesday or what's going on with time. So planning ahead is very important. Planning ahead and having a planner and having what you want to get out of every day is very important. But also, we have to take this thing a day at a time, because everything's changing so fast that we don't... There's no place for hard, fast plans written in stone. We have to take this a day at a time, doing what we know and doing what can be done every day as the day comes. Okay, so what are some health tips that I can give you that you can do at home? That's worked for me. First, in order not to catch or to be more resistant to flu and COVID, you can maintain your mucous membranes moistened. And in the fall and in the winter, it usually gets very dry. So they dry out and they're not very efficient at catching the viruses and spitting them out with runny noses or runny eyes. So if you feel your eyes, your nose, or your mouth and throat dry, please moisturize. For the nose, you can use just your regular moisturizer that you use on your face. For your eyes, there's a saline solution that's like artificial tears. And of course, for the mouth and throat, just drink water and keep them moisturized. Because these mucous membranes are part of the defense system, part of the immune system. So they catch the bug and they flush it out. That's the first defense. So, okay, I'm already in the immune system. So for the immune system, first it's the defense, it's the barriers. Like a medieval castle, you first have to go through the moat and then through the walls, and then you have to face the army. The body is the same. We have skin and we have mucous membranes and we have all these things that stop the virus before it reaches the points of trouble. So if the defenses are well, less viral charge will get to the throat, to the bronchi, to the lungs, to wherever they're headed. Okay? The second thing is, for example, teas. There's a lot of herbal teas that are really good at maintaining this, and also that are natural antibiotics, like rosemary, like eucalyptus, like mint. Also, ginger. Ginger is very good for heating the body, and it's an antibacterial. Also, cinnamon. So you can do teas of all these things and just keep your body warm, because that's the other thing that helps the immune system. Heat, the warmth of the body. So beware of being cold. Beware of changes in temperature that are really hard on you. Keep your throat warm and keep your body warm with the teas. And all these teas with honey are just really comforting and de-stressing too, because just having a nice warm cup of tea is always a good time out. So heat and teas and essential oils also of these herbs are really good to put in whatever you're breathing, to put by your nose. Eucalyptus, mint, rosemary are really good. Of course, you have to get good ones. There's also ones you can even eat, and you can put them in your tea, so to make it stronger. Okay, and some of the therapies I have found that really work for these kind of things, especially viral infections. One of them is biomagnetism. This was discovered by a Mexican doctor called Isaac Goiz, and he discovered that through putting magnets on the body, he can make the pH in the body neutral, and with a neutral pH, neither virus nor bacteria can propagate and multiply. So biomagnetism, really good. Ozone therapy. Ozone therapy, you can do it by blood. There's a method in which they take blood out, they put ozone in it, and they inject it right back on you. And this increases the amount of oxygen in the body. And for things like COVID, that you're not oxygenating enough, it's proven really good. And it also kills virus and bacteria, because ozone is very corrosive. So it kills all these microorganisms. Even it acts as an antibiotic, but also as an antiviral. So ozone therapy, really good. Then to keep the immune system flowing, it's also very good to keep the lymphatic system well. The lymphatic system is all these nodes we have here and in the throat and in the underarm and in the chest and in the stomach. We have them all over the body. And their function is to eliminate toxins in the body. So what you can do to keep this system flowing is, one, exercise, because these nodules do not have a pump like the heart. They do not have any particular pump, and they're embedded in the muscles. So whenever you move, the muscles help drain these nodules. And then also heat, because sweating helps get rid of the toxins without them having to be transported by the lymphatic system. And there's also a way to do it with a massage that's called a manual lymphatic drainage. And they go like this with all the nodes, and they start draining them in order for them to flow and to get rid of all the toxins. So that's really good. The other system we have to be really careful of when it comes to health, that helps the immune system, is the digestive system. Because the flora in the intestines are the first ones that notice when something's wrong. And they send the signal to the brain that something's wrong. So having a healthy flora in the intestine is very important. So if you had antibiotics, or if you drink a lot of alcohol, or you have a lot of medicines, of drugs, not illegal drugs, but regular drugs, also illegal drugs, but anything that can really intoxicate the system, you need to have probiotics and foods that feed the flora, like yogurt, like kombucha, like sauerkraut. All these fermented things are really good food for the intestinal flora. And of course, you can always supplement with probiotics. They sell them all over the place. If you do buy them, it's better to have the organic ones and the ones that are grown in many different mediums. So you get a lot of variety. The thing with intestinal flora, the good thing is variety. Also, Reiki is really good because it keeps your energetic levels high, and then your body can do whatever it needs to do, and it also relaxes a lot. So passing energy through Reiki is really good. And then acupuncture and acupressure, and I already did the videos in Spanish for the meridians. I'm going to do them in English too. And these are all the energy points that you need to keep flowing, the energetic system flowing. And this is traditional Chinese medicine. And then, of course, my core, which is resonance repatterning, which is incredible for all the mental and emotional situations we may be going through. It's just incredible. It works like magic. So if you have somebody that you can go for a session of resonance repatterning with, do. Because all these stresses and all these things that are caused by things in our childhood are cleared by resonance repatterning. So that's sort of a go-to recommendation for me. Every time I'm feeling blue or stressed or whatever, I do a session on myself, or I go to one of my friends that do this, and it really works like magic. It actually changed my life. And, well, that's all I can help you with immune system right now. And I will do the meridians. I don't know when, but I will do the meridians, I promise. The first one that's really important to have clear right now is the lungs. And I'll just give you one point to leave you with this. It's right here. If you see this bone, the clavicle, where it meets the shoulder, there's a little hole there. And that's the first point of the lung meridian. And you can always massage there to have your lung meridian cleared. It goes down to the arms, but there. You see? There. And if it hurts, your lung meridian needs work. You should probably look for an acupuncturist. And the last one I'm going to talk about, and it's the last one because I'm not very good at it, it's homeopathy. Homeopathy really works well for people who are very disciplined and can take their medicine in time, because it's a time thing. And what homeopathy does is it gives you a little bit more of the poison you're having in your body, so that it provokes a bigger reaction and you get better sooner. You usually have a healing crisis and then you get better much faster because your body is overreacting to it. And I'm not such a fan because I'm not very good with timings, and I forget, and then I don't have them in time, and then so it doesn't work. Of course, if you don't take the medicine, it doesn't work. And the last thing I want to say is, remember, these are complementary things. None of these is to go against doctor's orders. I really respect doctors and I respect the medical profession, and I want to take this time to thank them for everything they're doing for us. They're saving so many lives and they're in the front lines, and everything we can do to keep ourselves well and not end up in the hospital where they have to take care of us is great. So please take care of yourselves, take care of your immune systems, and be well. Thank you.